Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NFL Week 14 review show with yours truly, Sky Pank. Franchise tags here. Me and Adam reunited. Adam, I've heard through the grapevine that me being back is as exciting as when Tom Brady returned for his final season. Would
Yeah,
you?
I didn't care about that either. So,
There's two
I
big,
mean,
two big moments in history that you didn't care about in the NFL world.
exactly. Pretty much spot on, in fairness.
But we're getting to the nitty gritty now. Obviously, I thought it was a great slate of games, and we're going to be looking at the standard three that we've picked out. Well, no, I think I'm saying great slate because Bills and Rams, obviously, that'll be our middle game. But for me, probably the best game that I've seen this year, maybe up there with your Lions and Packers game last Thursday. We'll look at the Vikings Falcons first, and then we've got the Chiefs Chargers, the Padoink for the divisional title. Yeah. And then we have a great, if you make it that far and you're listening, we have a great preview, Monday Night Football between two. When they picked this game, they definitely thought it was going to be a big one, but it's not between the Cowboys and the Bengals. But yeah, let's kick off, Adam, with the Vikings and the Falcons. So Kirk Cousins going up against his former team. I think a lot of people thought there was going to be a narrative there for the Falcons to potentially win this. And at one point it was close. But before we talk about sort of how good the Vikings are, where do you sort of make of this Falcons team, considering that, you know, they lost to Tampa twice, their record's not great, and what did you make of their performance in this game?
Yeah, it's been a struggle, hasn't it? I think I was expecting more from them this season. It seems like it's all fallen away. When we were doing the betting show on Friday night, me and Andrew sort of spoke about he sort of brought the idea of should we be looking to bring in Michael Penix in for the Falcons now, and my theory was very much that I felt like they would give Cousins this game and see how he goes. But after that, if it kind of all falls flat, then maybe they would have to. I thought he looked a little bit better than what he has
First half,
been, but
or at least first quarter,
yeah, first half he looked a little bit better, but he had 344 yards, no touchdowns. It was pretty much the run game that did all of that, and two interceptions. So he did struggle again. It wasn't great, and I think it's a difficult one now because the Bucks have now taken over, haven't they, with
yeah,
that division? So
ahead
it
in this
feels
one.
like they've got to do something, and keeping Cousins in there just kind of feels a little bit like it's not going to solve the problem anymore. So I think that's been their biggest problem. Even before, it felt to me that he needed to be in a rhythm whenever he played. That was kind of what it was. He needed to just keep throwing the ball all the time. They wanted to sort of bring in a lot of running game into it as well, which kind of makes sense because, you know, the OC and Raheem Morris, they've all come from the Rams. And when you remember the Rams and how they play, the running game is important. So that all kind of made sense to me that they would want to do that. It just hasn't really worked with Cousins. The concern is that if you now bench him and bring in Penix, and Penix does okay, you've got all of that money just sitting there and with a guy that's not going to play, and it's all guaranteed. So that's the problem. And in this game, I think they got blown away really by the Vikings. It wasn't that I didn't really think that the Vikings did anything particularly special. I just felt it was it was all available to them. It was all quite easy for them to rack the points up in this particular game. And obviously Darnold had a really good game, and it's the first time that he's ever had 5 touchdowns,
Yeah,
I believe, in his career. So
I think
that's
you'd say that.
that's something that and the run game was all right as well. It did okay. So yeah, I don't think the Vikings did anything amazing. It's really weird. They're an 11-2 team, and I don't feel like they've been very good. I just feel like they just keep winning. It's really odd. But yeah, they looked okay, and the Falcons' defense kind of disappeared a little bit as well, especially in the second half. So that's a bit of a concern. I think the Falcons have the potential to fade away a little bit here now.
Yeah, I think that even you can tell how bad Kirk Cousins has played. That even I'm sat here thinking they've got the Raiders, Giants in their next two, Panthers last game. But
I
even
mean, they
then,
should win them both.
but you're still thinking like, oh well. But it's just like it's not much convincing. And on the Viking side, it's not that they're not convincing, but they probably are the weirdest only 2-loss team going into week 14 I can think of in a long, long time. Like even Justin Jefferson ended up having a huge game, but for the first quarter, first half, very, very quiet. Do you think it's a case of the Vikings? I mean, in their next few games, they've got, the Bears is the easy one. They've then got Seattle, yourself, the Packers, and the Lions. I know, obviously, different come playoff time, but this almost feels like the big test now. We're getting to the nitty gritty now. And obviously, do you think even they need to win a couple of those to have confidence going into the postseason? Because Darnold is a confidence guy.
Yeah, I mean, well, Seattle, the Packers, and the Lions basically is the playoffs.
Yeah.
To a certain degree. I mean, before it, so they've got a really tough run in them last 3 games. So it's kind of useful for them that they've got the wins already. So yeah, I mean, they do need to. I think you're right with Darnold. There is an element of confidence needs to keep happening, and that's something that you're seeing that he is quite confident at the moment. I did wonder whether bringing Daniel Jones in would maybe knock him a little bit, just purely because you've got someone there who is reasonably capable, I suppose.
Maybe now he knows he's actually good, that he's seen him.
Yeah, that is true. So there is that as well. But yeah, as you said, Justin Jefferson, really weird, weird season. He's got 2 touchdowns in this game, but hadn't scored. I think it was somewhere in October was the last time. So it's been a very strange season for Justin Jefferson. Obviously, Jordan Addison looked great, but again, it's not. Yeah, exactly. It's not someone who scores a lot, and that they have a run game in Aaron Jones, which is okay, but not fantastic. They're a very weird side. Everything about them is very, very odd, but it seems to be working, and there is an element of maybe they just need to just keep going. Like as long as they can keep going on this run, then that's great. But I think that in this particular matchup, you just saw a team that was very confident against a team that was just sort of struggling and not quite. They haven't had enough wins in the last few weeks to really sort of like make them think that they've got a chance of pushing on. And it's a shame really with the Falcons, because I feel like they're a team that should be winning this division this year. I feel like the Bucks have been okay, but they haven't been fantastic. Yeah, well, I think most people probably did go along with the hype of it in the off season.
Yeah. With Justin Jefferson, I know we're not doing the stats today, but something I wanted to bring up was he's the first player in, did you see this? First player in NFL history to reach 7,000 receiving yards in his first 5 seasons.
Okay.
Just, it's still
fair
impressive,
enough. Well, I mean, it means he can catch the ball very well. So well done.
He's doing his job.
Exactly.
Bill Belichick-esque.
Do you want me to go full Irish accent? You're doing your job. Is that where I will end up getting cancelled? Is that where you want us to go?
And he also become the 3rd fastest player in NFL history to reach that mark, doing so in 73 games, trading only Lance Allworth and Julio Jones. So in prestige company.
I mean, he's a very good receiver, isn't he? I mean, it's
and
like
the targets. I think we saw in this game. What I was going to say, we mentioned about Addison. He draws the double coverage, and then guys like Addison and Hawkins, and they can get open.
I think that is the other thing. That is the other thing to say with Jefferson, is that he does get double covered a lot, and so obviously it's tough. So to be able to do that, and be able to reach that sort of yardage already in 5 years is impressive. But yeah, I mean, he's, as you rightly say, he's just doing his job.
We'll move on to